Hi, I'm Amy Miller with Wedding Life. We are here today at the Wedding Life showroom with photographer Victor Sizemore. How you doing, Victor?
I'm good.
Victor, why don't you tell me your story and how you got started in photography?
Okay. I originally went to college to be a fine art major. Didn't really know what I wanted to do at that point, and primarily I went to school for baseball. Let's just put it that way. So I went to school back east in Tennessee, and then decided I didn't want to teach, being a fine art major, and decided to go into advertising. Had an internship, and that kind of bounced me around. I made it to California, played ball out here, and then decided I wanted to pursue photography. So I started majoring in graphic design, and it was too late to switch, and so I ended up just pursuing photography after I finished school, and I've been back in California about 5 years now with my business.
Why don't you tell me about the interaction that you have between a bride and groom, or where you get started when you first meet them?
You know, my studio is located in my home, so it's a nice kind of feel to bring somebody into your home and kind of to see how inviting it is, and for them to see a little bit about my personality. You know, travel is a big passion of mine, so I don't have any wedding photos up. I have a lot of travel photography, other projects that I've done. So it kind of lets them know a little bit about me, and it gives me a chance to connect with them in different levels. So we start out by talking a little bit about the wedding, kind of seeing the style they're going for, expectations, what they're looking for, and that gives me a chance to answer questions for them better as they're looking at the albums, and I can pull out relative samples to their wedding and not just go through the same samples sets every time with every bride and groom.
And I understand that you just think it's a huge thing to do the engagement shoot with the bride and the groom. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know, I feel like the engagement session is very important. Just the rapport building itself. Any preparation we can do before the wedding day is going to help us on the day of. Some of the other things we do, for example, if we shoot 2 hours at an engagement session, we'll go out, grab some drinks, appetizers afterwards, and talk a little bit more about the wedding, because, you know, all the filling each other out is over. They've already hired me, so we can really get to know each other a little bit about their story as a couple, and it's definitely a great rapport building time.
How would you describe your style, Victor?
I would describe my style as definitely a little more classic, a little vintage, you know, a little bit more on the dramatic side. I'm always looking for, you know, kind of grand backgrounds or interesting things that we can play into, you know, their personality or kind of the style of the wedding that they're having. You know, my goal for every wedding is to get that one shot that they say, wow, you know, like, that's a piece of artwork, you know, I want to hang that over my mantle, or can't believe that's us, you know, as in conjunction with, you know, the candid moments, all the traditional family shots and things like that.
Right. I know that you went to school for graphic design. Can you tell me how that helps your post-production?
Oh, tremendously. I mean, you know, working in this digital age, you know, it's great to have the tools that we can design all our albums in-house. It's very custom. You know, one of the testaments our album designing is about 90% of our clients don't make any changes from their album. So it really shows we get to know the clients very well. We get to work with them through the whole process. They have input as much as they want, or they can give us free rein. You know, we can interpret it how we saw it and how we shot it that day. So the background in graphic design helps not only with the image processing, but also the album part.
Exactly. Tell me a little bit about the infrared shooting that you do.
The infrared is a different style of photography. I have a dedicated camera, dedicated body to shoot nothing but infrared. Just to give you a little illustration what infrared is, our eye spectrum is here. UV light is above, infrared is below. So the infrared light reflects differently off of different objects. So for example, something with a silky property like grass, trees, bridesmaids' dresses, it's going to reflect differently off of that, and all those things turn white on the infrared film. So when you have a deep bridesmaid's dress, maybe even black or a crimson red, and a normal black and white, those would turn dark, like the groom's tuxedos. Okay. But in infrared, if you pair them up, those reflect and become white, so you get a very different contrast, and all the greens will glow white and kind of give you a surreal feel for the photo.
Cool. Very cool. Do you have things that inspire you when you're taking your pictures, or where do you look for inspiration?
Oh, lots of places. I mean, one, my family. I have 4 small, rambunctious little kids. And, you know, they're just always fun to be around, and, you know, they inspire me to kind of, you know, be better in every way. Also, I love food. Food is a huge passion of mine, you know, to the point where, you know, I take notes on places I go and keep track of everything, whether it's in a foreign country or if it's just here in, you know, Irvine. So I really enjoy food. And then, as I mentioned before, travel. I love to travel in every way. I just think it's so educational and such a big way to expand your horizons.
Let's pinpoint on that. Tell me about your travels over the last few years.
I shoot quite a few destination weddings, about 10 to 15, maybe even 20% of my business. Last year, I was fortunate enough to be in Hawaii 3 times. I was in Vail, Portland, and I even shot an engagement and bridal session in Hong Kong. And so it ranges, you know, the destinations always range from, you know, whatever happens that year. And I generally try to take, you know, a little side venture on some of my more exotic locations and just spend some time for myself shooting fine art stuff, shooting, you know, culture, travel, lifestyle, things like that.
Tell me about your favorite place to shoot an engagement session.
You know, I really don't have one favorite place for engagement session because that's the beauty about Southern California. There's so many locations, so many things that you can do and places you can go. One thing that I like to concentrate on my engagement sessions is really finding something that speaks about the couple's personality. For example, I had a bride and groom last year. They got engaged at Angel Stadium. He proposed over the Jumbotron. He's an Angel nut, you know, he loves Angels. So we shot their session in Angel Stadium. They, you know, rented it out just for a couple hours and we shot all over. So small things like that, you know, whether it's where they went on their first date or close to where they live and they always go to these shops and these, you know, restaurants. We can shoot an engagement session literally anywhere. And so I really like it to be meaningful and kind of speak about their personality so other people get it when they look at the photos.
And I will say I've seen so many different places that you've shot engagement sessions, and although they are so unique, you really make the bride and groom stand out. So I commend you for that. So if you'd like to contact Victor Sizemore, let's tell him where they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, the best place is on the web, www.vcsphoto.com. And then the blog is also a great place to see current work. And then the phone number, if you want to talk to me, is 1-800-733-5060.
Check them out.
Thanks.